how to dominate your draft from the third pick. Let's get it started. This is a 12-team PPR draft with no time limit, so we can talk through these picks. Time to start this draft. Christian McCaffrey and CeeDee Lamb come off the board. Honestly, the first 3 picks in this year's draft are simple. You're going with Christian McCaffrey at number 1 and then deciding between CeeDee Lamb at 2 or my personal favorite Tyreek Hill at 2. But with CMC and Lamb off the board, give me some Tyreek Hill. Starting off with Tyreek Hill is incredible. He's been a top 2 wide receiver 3 out of the last 4 years, but I think he takes that number 1 spot this year. Moving on. Next off the board, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Bijan Robinson, Breece Hall, A.J. Brown, Garrett Wilson, Puka Nacua, Jahmyr Gibbs, Devontae Adams, Kyren Williams, Marvin Harrison, Jonathan Taylor. First tight end off the board, Sam Laporta, Saquon Barkley, Chris Olave, Travis Etienne, and Josh Allen. At this point, I'm not looking at quarterback. You already got Josh Allen out of here. Some players I like on the board here. I think Travis Kelce is a good grab. He's in the back of the second. I think that's fine. He could slip to the third. At running back, I like Derrick Henry. A little early for James Cook. Devon Achane, people are in love with him. Number 1, I don't want to have 2 Dolphins this high in my draft. And number 2, he's a little too volatile for me to get in the second round. I know that everybody's big on him, and I do think that he can have his boom games. But when I'm drafting a running back this high, I want them to be the main guy. I want to know they're going to get touches. I just don't think Achane fits that bill. Moving over to receiver, Drake London is solid. I'm not big on Brandon Ayuk. Is Brandon Ayuk going to be on the 49ers? Is he going to be somewhere else? The Patriots, the Steelers, the Browns? I'm really not excited about any of those. And honestly, I think he's being drafted too high, even if he stays with the 49ers. I like me some Mike Evans. You know you're going to get at least 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns. I think I'm going to go running back here because I have King Henry staring at me saying, take the 10 touchdowns, Mike. So I'm going to take those touchdowns. Derrick Henry off the board. Next, we got Brandon Ayuk, Travis Kelce, who doesn't get back to me. Drake London and Mike Evans comes off the board. Ugh. All right, let's see what we got here. Devon Achane's still there, but it still stands. I don't want 2 Dolphins this high up. Not as big on Josh Jacobs. I do like Isaiah Pacheco. James Cook, I have the highest in my rankings here. I think that could be a solid grab, but I think there are some running backs that I want to get later on. Let's check out the wide receivers. Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs. Not really excited about either one of them right now, mainly because I think they're going to be eating into each other's touches. Deebo Samuel, if Brandon Ayuk leaves, this Deebo Samuel pick could be good. I really like Jalen Waddle, but again, 2 Dolphins. A little early for that. If I went CeeDee Lamb, I would be getting Jalen Waddle here most likely. It's too early for a tight end not named Travis Kelce. I will say this. I know it's going to be early for some of y'all, but there's a receiver on the board that I know won't get back to me. And when you are playing at one of the ends, sometimes you got to reach and grab your guy. And that guy for me is Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp is being dramatically underrated this year. And no, I'm not just talking about the Puka Nacua injury, whether he got banged up or not. Cooper Kupp is still one of them dudes. While he is on the field, he will still dominate. 2 years removed from being the Triple Crown winner, leading in receptions, yards, and touchdowns. His only problem is injury. But if he shows up and shows out, woo-wee! Tyreek Hill and Cooper Kupp could be nasty. And I like DK Metcalf right below him, so hopefully he gets back to me. Probably not. Cooper Kupp it is. Next, Josh Jacobs, Deebo Samuel, Nico Collins, Devon Achane, Hurts, Lamar Jackson. Okay, we got a couple quarterbacks off the board. Stephon Diggs, DJ Moore, Isaiah Pacheco, Patrick Mahomes, Waddle, Neighbors, Pittman, DK Metcalf. I was hoping he dropped. Same with James Cook and Rachaad White. Stroud and Trey McBride. Love me some Trey McBride this year, but not going to be able to get him. At this point in my draft, I evaluate my team. I have 2 elite wide receivers and a bell cow running back that's going to get double-digit touchdowns. Pretty balanced. I can go any way. Another wide receiver, running back, tight end. I'm pretty flexible at this point. Running backs on the board, Joe Mixon, Alvin Kamara, Kenneth Walker, Aaron Jones. Those are all solid picks. The running back that I'd like to get right here is Alvin Kamara, but I think he might get back to me. Maybe not. There's only one running back between the two. They're probably going to take at least 2 of these guys. but I also like running backs late. At receiver, Devonta Smith, Zay Flowers, Tank Dell, George Pickens. Out of that group, I like Devonta Smith the most. Let's move over to tight end. Mark Andrews and Dalton Kincaid is interesting. I have Andrews over Kincaid. I have 4 tight ends in my tier 1. Travis Kelce, Sam Laporta, Mark Andrews, and Trey McBride. 3 of the 4 are off the board. I think I kind of got to go Mark Andrews. Give me Mark Andrews, the last of the elite tight ends in my tier 1. Let's see what comes back to me. Joe Mixon, Devonta Smith, Zay Flowers, Anthony Richardson off the board. With Devonta Smith off the board, I may not go wide receiver. I do like George Pickens here. I like Amari Cooper. But there's a running back that's in a higher tier than all the other running backs. Alvin Kamara. Can y'all see this? It's probably too small, ain't it? Zoom in. Y'all see that better? Yeah, you see that better. Yeah, now you can see the roster a little better. All right, let's go over the roster. We have Tyreek Hill, Derrick Henry, Cooper Kupp, Mark Andrews. And the 5th pick, I'm thinking I'm going with a PPR beast, Alvin Kamara. He had the 2nd most receptions last year with 75. Pretty good. This is a full-point PPR league. Let's see who comes next. Amari Cooper, Kincaid, Pickens, Walker. Oh, Pitts, Walker, Pickens, Jones, David Montgomery, Tank Dell, Allen, Higgins, Kirk, Swift, Jordan Addison. I am not big on this year. He possibly is going to miss games. I don't trust the quarterback. I'm good. Same thing with Roma Doomsday. There's too many mouths to feed. Terry McLaurin has a questionable quarterback. And surprise, Zamir White went this high. Good for you, Zamir. At this point, my roster is pretty balanced. 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end. No quarterback. The quarterback that I like is coming up, though. So again, I can go really any way at this point. I'm not heavily invested anywhere. Rashee Rice is only going this late because we think he may get suspended, but time's a ticking on this suspension. Where are we at, NFL? Why have we heard nothing about whether or not he's going to be suspended this year, next year? Will it come at all? Most likely, but the NFL gets a little lax on when the suspension happens. Could happen this year, could happen next year. At this point, Rashee Rice is becoming a value, but I don't really want to go that way right now. Jaden Reed's a solid pick here. Chris Godwin's okay as well. Xavier Worthy, I'm a little up in the air about. I think he's going to be boom bust for his rookie year. Calvin Ridley, though. Calvin Ridley gets a boost up with the unfortunate injury to DeAndre Hopkins. Like me some Calvin Ridley to start the year. I can stop looking at tight end because I don't need those anymore. Quarterback, there's 3 quarterbacks that I really still like here. Won't be making any stacks, but I do like these 3 quarterbacks. Joe Burrow, Dak Prescott, and my personal favorite of these, Kyler Murray, who I think is going to be having a breakout year. But let's play the game. When you're at the 3rd pick, sometimes you need to gamble on whether your player will come back to you. In this situation, I want a quarterback with my next pick. I want to get Kyler Murray. So I look over at the team 1 and team 2. Team 2 already has a quarterback, so he definitely is not getting another one in round 6. And team 1 has no quarterback, but they also kind of need a running back as well. I think we gamble with it. Let's see if it works out. I'm going to take Calvin Ridley and see if I can get Kyler Murray on the way back. Fingers crossed. Wish me luck. All right, Reed. Burrow. Yes! There's no way you go quarterback there. Let's go. Sometimes you gamble and you win. This is one of those times. Let's go, Kyler Murray. Boom shakalaka. Next up, we got Chris Godwin, Rashee Rice, Dak Prescott, Evan Ingram, Raheem Mostert, Tony Pollard, Najee Harris, Hollywood Brown. Ooh, Ladd McConkey going out in the 7th. Hopkins in the 8th. I think that's going to drop. Jordan Love, Zach Moss, Brock Bowers. I don't understand the Brock Bowers love personally. I don't think that they have a good quarterback, and the quarterback's going to be throwing the ball to Devontae Adams a lot. Nick Chubb is wild. I need to see this man on a football field before I even think about drafting him. Deontay Johnson, Jonathan Brooks, who may also start off real slow. Javonte Williams and Austin Eckler. All right, let's check out the squad. At wide receiver, we have Tyreek Hill, Cooper Kupp, and Calvin Ridley. I like that. At running back, we have Derrick Henry and Alvin Kamara. Yes, they're a little older, but Kamara's good in a PPR, and Derrick Henry's going to get a bunch of touchdowns. Mark Andrews is a beast. Having 2 Baltimore Ravens on my team, I am a little pot committed on the Ravens, but I think they're going to be a good offense. Calvin Ridley should start off strong, and Kyler Murray I have as a top 5 quarterback this year. These running backs are starting to get thin. Let's check out what we got. Jaylen Warren, Devin Singletary, backup Trey Benson, Tajay Spears, Brian Robinson. Yee. But I think people are sleeping on Gus Edwards and Ezekiel Elliott. Gus Edwards is the running back 1 on a team that wants to run the ball. He's going to get utilized, and I'm pretty sure my man had over 10 touchdowns last year. When Harbaugh gets close to the end zone, he's going to run the ball. Gus Edwards is going to be the benefactor of that. That being said, Ezekiel Elliott back on the Dallas Cowboys is hard to pass up. I think he's going to fall into the end zone, possibly double-digit times. And I trust that offense more. Let's go with Ezekiel Elliott and see if Gus Edwards gets back to us. Probably not. All right, Zeke, Njoku, Coleman, that's a good pick. Warren's a good pick. Singletary, okay. To get a starting running back in the 9th round, gotta love it. Gus Edwards, let's get it. Jake Ferguson, Watson, Jackson Smith and Jigba. We got Purdy. Ooh. Caleb Williams, Brian Thomas Jr. I did want to get him last pick. Not big on Goddard. Trey Benson, Dalton Schultz, Jayden Daniels. I think that's a solid pick. Spears, Tua, Jamal Williams, Cortland Sutton, Brian Robinson, TJ Hawkinson, who should be back. Herbert and Goff. All right. Now that I've loaded up at running back, I can ignore that for a bit and get some wide receivers with upside. See, at this point in your draft, we're at pick 10. And at pick 10, you need to grab players that you see having upside. You don't want to get players that are just going to be middle of the pack. You want them to possibly break out and be the guy. I like Curtis Samuel because he has the chance of being the number 1 guy on the Bills. Tyler Lockett, I think he still has it. Rough year last year, though. There's some receivers way down there that I like. Jalen Polk, I think, has a chance to be the number 1 wide receiver, but he's pretty low, so I can wait on him. Jermaine Burton, super late. Okay, so we got some receivers down there that I can grab. At running back, I like Chase Brown, who could possibly be the number 1 running back on the team. I'm leaning Zach Moss, but Chase Brown's been getting some buzz. Really like Chuba Hubbard here. With whispers of Jonathan Brooks not starting the year off right, I think Chuba Hubbard could get some extra touches. With the Bills not having a defined 1, I think taking a shot on Curtis Samuel being that guy is warranted. I'm between him or Lockett. Let's go with the unknown. There's a world where either one of these receivers are the 3rd on their team. For Lockett, there's a new coaching staff. DK is going to be number 1. Is JSN, the young stud, going to overtake him at that number 2 spot? Maybe, maybe not. Curtis Samuel coming over from Washington with the coaching staff that knows him. Apparently, Curtis Samuel is being cross-trained at wide receiver and running back, meaning he's going to be on the field more often. Let's grab Curtis Samuel. Okay, Lockett came off the board. Brown and Blake Corum. Yeesh. Again, we want to go after ambiguous backfields or receiving cores. Another receiving core where we really don't know what's going to happen? The Los Angeles Chargers. Ladd McConkey's already off the board, but Joshua Palmer could get extra work. Let's shoot for the stars. Look at that mean mug. Urgh. With all the other receivers out of town, Palmer might get some work. All right, next we got Shakir, Mitchell, Dobbs, Myers, Charbonnet, Leggett, Chuba Hubbard, Trevor Lawrence, Shaheed, Ford, Freiermuth, Jalen Wright, Matthew Stafford, Jerry Jeudy, Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, Luke Musgrave, and Joshua Downs. Heck of a run here. Let's see what we like at the running back position. Not big on J.K. Dobbins, mainly because of his injury history. He does have upside if he can stay healthy, but that's a risk. Kendre Miller can't stay on the field. Rico Dowdle, I can own the entire Dallas Cowboys backfield. Marshawn Lloyd could get on the field behind Josh Jacobs. If Josh Jacobs goes down, I think Lloyd's going to be good. I also think the Packers are going to use 2 running backs. I think I got to go Jalen Polk here at wide receiver. He has a chance to be the wide receiver 1 on the New England Patriots. At the moment, Brandon Ayuk is not on the Patriots, so like I said, you want to shoot for upside. He was drafted near the top of the 2nd round, so you know they're going to use him. Solid dice roll. Williams, Dobbins, Dowdle, and we're going kickers. I'm actually not mad at it. I don't normally go kicker this early, but you can go kicker here. I mean, you got the best kicker in the league. One of the best kickers in the league. Give me some Justin Tucker. Give me Marshawn Lloyd. If he cannot fumble and stay on the field, I think that Marshawn Lloyd should be pretty solid. Yes, he will be a backup running back, but I think that they'll put him on the field more than we think they will. And if Josh Jacobs goes down, number one on a good offense. All right, now it's just kicker time now. We got Bass off the board, Miller, Tucker, Gabe Davis. We got defenses in the Jets, Elliott, Franklin, 49ers, Aubrey, Cook. Cook's that late is a solid pick. Ben Sinnett, I'll pass on the rookie tight end. I'm good. Bunch of kickers, Chandler, and Ricky Pearsall. That would have been a nice one. Just in case Brandon Ayuk left, that would have been a nice one to drop to me. But they got me. Here's a trick to the trade. If you find yourself in a situation where you don't like the kickers or the defenses that are being given to you, a quick tip is some leagues, you don't have to draft one. Draft some backups just in case the starter gets injured. And if the starter gets injured, now you've improved your roster and you have an asset that you can either use or trade. If they don't gain value, you just drop them and pick up a defensive kicker right before week 1. Not very often do you see a sophomore first round pick in the 14th round. Quentin Johnson, I feel for you, dog. And by that, I mean I feel bad for you, dog. You've been left to the very end of the draft, and I ain't gonna lie, I barely want to draft you for a couple reasons. Number one, I already have Palmer on my team, so I'm already taking a shot. And number two, you did nothing with your opportunity last year. But with Lav McConkey a little bit banged up, as well as the quarterback being banged up, Tyler Algier, if Bijan Robinson goes down, will be that dude. Let's go with Quentin Johnson. I'll be dropping either him or Palmer in the first 2 weeks. But we'll see what the kid has. And then for my last pick, I'll take a receiver with an elite quarterback to throw him the ball. And question marks at the wide receiver 2 position. Will he be traded? Will he not be traded? Of course, I'm talking about Jermaine Burton, wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals. Is T. Higgins going to be here? How long is he going to be there? Will he get traded? Don't know. What I do know is if he gets traded or either one of them miss time, Jermaine Burton's going to be one of them guys. People are going to be scurrying to the waiver wire to grab him. Not you. You will already have Jermaine Burton on your roster because he's one of the best last picks of the draft. If it works out, sky's the limit. Boom. And that is going to conclude my pick. Now let's review my team. At wide receiver, we have Tyreek Hill, Cooper Kupp, Calvin Ridley, Curtis Samuel, Joshua Palmer, Jalen Polk, Quentin Johnson, and Jermaine Burton. At running back, we have Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, Ezekiel Elliott, Gus Edwards, and Marshawn Lloyd. Tight end, we have Mark Andrews, and quarterback, we have Kyler Murray. So how do you feel about this draft? Who did I take too high, and who would you have picked that I didn't pick? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. How do you feel about this squad? Squad! I like the receivers. Tyreek Hill and Cooper Kupp could be nasty. Calvin Ridley's going to have a fantastic start as well. I have a top 5 to top 7 quarterback in Kyler Murray. Mark Andrews is a top 4 tight end. Running back, pretty old guys. I'll admit, the running backs are a little old. Derrick Henry should get 10 touchdowns. Alvin Kamara will get a bunch of receptions. I actually still think Zeke's going to be solid, and Gus Edwards will fall into the end zone 8 to 10 times. And Marshawn Lloyd might get some opportunity. With this team, I'd be really active on the waiver wire and getting it done. Where should I draft from next? The middle of the draft, the end of the draft? Should I be using 10 teams, 12 teams, 14 teams? Let me know down in the comments. If you need help with your draft, I'll be doing more mocks over here. Fantasy football rankings and advice over here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell down below. I got a lot of content coming out soon. And I can't wait to talk to y'all more. See you soon. Peace.